Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Ashley Godwin. New today, 2 teens were shot late last night near the River Market. We're told they are expected to be okay. Then at 2 a.m. this morning, Little Rock police responded to another scene on Louisiana and 4th Street and found a 19-year-old suffering from a gunshot injury. They took him to the hospital where he later died. When our team got there this morning, the crime scene investigation unit had markers for more than 100 bullet casings on the ground. Both shootings are still under investigation, and police don't know yet if the shootings are related. We'll update this as more information is released.
A check of your forecast on this Sunday evening. We've had a very fall-like weekend in store. The conditions have been overall fair for us. We're going to continue to stay quiet, but this is what we saw for today. This afternoon highs reached around 80 degrees. Our morning we're in the upper 40s, one of the coolest mornings we've had since at least late April. Right now we're sitting at around 79, mostly sunny skies. Going into tonight will be quiet, mainly clear, temperatures dipping into the upper 50s. Cloud cover does increase into the late overnight hours with partly sunny skies for our Monday, and we'll be seeing it increasing those temperatures. Those highs will be nearing the mid 80s Monday afternoon and Tuesday, upper 80s Wednesday, but note that big cool down. That's thanks to a cold front that's in our forecast that actually brings us the chance for some rain. So I'll talk about that just ahead.
Arkansans from centuries ago were brought back to life at the Mount Holly Cemetery during the annual Tales of the Crypt. The event was postponed the last 2 years because of the pandemic, but today students from the drama department of Parkview Arts and Science Magnet High School tell the history of former Arkansans that are buried at the cemetery. Judy Goss was one of the very first students to be a part of this in 1994 and continues to be a part of the tradition.
We thought maybe 400 people, and we had 400 programs printed, and 1,000 people came. We saw the lines all up, you know, and so from that time on, it's been a very popular community event because it preserves the history.
The drama department plans to continue the tradition next year. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office Fraternal Order of Police votes no confidence in the current leadership. 2 weeks ago, the FOP met to discuss issues they had within the Sheriff's Office. The vote was taken by secret ballot where no member knew how the other voted. A majority of the members said they had no confidence in Sheriff Eric Higgins and the administration of the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office. This is an election year for the sheriff. The candidates running are Sheriff Higgins, Calvin Grogan, and Paul Keller. THV 11 is your election central, and you've got 2 days left to make sure you're registered to vote in the November midterms. Eyes are on the Arkansas gubernatorial race, and voters will also decide if marijuana will be legalized for recreational use. Today, Pulaski County election officials hosted a voting machine demonstration showing how easy it is to make your voice heard.
On election day, you will have a paper ballot to vote on, and of course you will put your paper ballot into the ballot scanner. There will be one touchscreen machine at each location for voters with disabilities to use.
If you want to take a look at the important deadlines coming up and learn how to cast your ballot on November 8th, just text the word VOTE to 501-376-1111. A Texas congressman claims a new California law allows doctors to provide gender-affirming care to transgender children without parental consent. Brandon Lewis from our National Verified team looks into whether that's really the case.
Earlier this year, some states made it illegal or very difficult to provide gender-affirming care to children. In response, California lawmakers passed a law protecting families from prosecution if they travel to California for care. Texas Congressman Troy Nehls tweeted the law allows doctors to perform gender transition surgeries on children without parental consent. So let's verify. Does a California law allow doctors to perform gender-affirming surgery without parental consent? Our sources are California Senate Bill 107, California Welfare and Institutions Code, Transgender Care Providers, and Rebecca Gudeman with the National Center for Youth Law. SB 107 focuses solely on how California law enforcement should handle out-of-state investigations. It neither allows doctors to perform gender-affirming surgeries without parent consent, nor does it address the topic at all. Godwin tells Verify the tweet is 100% inaccurate, adding, quote, "What Senate Bill 107 says is if a parent brings their child to California for gender-affirming care and exercises their parental right to consent to that care, California will honor that decision." So, no, a California law does not allow doctors to perform gender-affirming surgeries without parental consent. In general, doctors in California can provide limited services without parental consent unless the minor is emancipated or lives in California and is completely financially separate and apart from their parents. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Thank you, Brandon. And a bridge linking the Crimean Peninsula to Russia was damaged by an explosion yesterday, a blow to Vladimir Putin that was both symbolic and practical. The damage could be seen for miles, smoke rising over the only link between mainland Russia and the Crimean Peninsula, which Vladimir Putin annexed by force from Ukraine in 2014. The bridge is an important supply route for the Russian military, and the explosion comes as concerns grow about Russia's nuclear threats. Some Russian officials are calling the explosion a terror attack and calling on Putin to declare a counterterrorism operation to escalate the war even further. And century-old farms were honored earlier this week. When we come back, a chat with some of those farmers who have had their land in the family for generations. Corrales.
Well, we have another warm-up on the way in the forecast, followed by a cool down and the chance for some rain as well. All that's in the forecast for this week. That's coming up.